Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and it is Thursday, May 23rd.
Yes.
All right.
May,
I don't know what date it is. I never know.
yeah, it is May 23rd.
So we are back. We Tuesday we weren't able to do a live stream because I had a documentary film crew in here all day on Tuesday. I'm very excited about this. They're doing a documentary on hand-drawn animation. And since I'm one of the old guys from the days of hand-drawn animation, they came out and they interviewed me for it. So it's going to be a really great documentary coming out in about a year, and I'm really honored to be part of it. So that was cool. So that's what we did on Tuesday. Before that, last week, Dustin and I were out in Montana, Yellowstone National Park. So that's part of Wyoming and Montana, and we were also in Bozeman. Where we visited the folks at Wildlife or Animals of Montana, Inc.
Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman, Montana. Yep. So we were there and got a ton of photography, drawing, all kinds of great stuff. And this is the first trip where I brought Dustin with me as a dedicated photographer. Every one of these trips I do, I shoot photos like crazy. And I got to lower that camera a little bit. Is that better?
I think it's fine.
Lower it down just a touch. And so usually I'm there photographing because I want to come back with material, reference material, and I don't get to draw very much. On this trip, I didn't photograph at all, except for maybe a handful of photos.
Yeah, because there's a point where there were two bears.
Yeah, the two grizzly bears, and so we both photographed there. But Dustin really kind of took over photography duties, and that allowed me to fill 28 pages in my sketchbook.
And I kind of went a little overboard with my photography.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. Yeah, you did good though. You shot about 12,000 photos.
Well,
no, literally 12,000.
Maybe like 9, maybe.
No, it was 8,000 at the Animals of Montana Inc. alone. It was 8,000 that day. And then you shot another 4,000 outside of that. So there's 12. 12,000, baby. That's what you shot. I counted them.
Okay.
Counted them when I had to bring them over and import them.
Well, that might have been a mix of both JPEG and RAW.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You're right.
So.
You're absolutely right. So anyway, it was great. And as a matter of fact, Dustin, first of all, I got Dustin with me, as usual. My trusty, dusty son. And so he is. Oh, I didn't know I still had my sunglasses on.
Yeah, you kind of got your sunglasses on.
It's been a mad dash. I had to take my father to the eye doctor today, and I just got back literally about 10 minutes ago. So it's been a mad dash trying to get everything ready.
I was trying to make last minute changes to our YouTube video.
Yes, and so Dustin, and we got Nick Birch in Sarasota, my business partner, as usual, and he's going to be there. Helping to answer questions as well. But really quickly, Dustin has roughed together. I've still got a few notes on it, so we're not ready to publish it yet. But I figured it's good enough to show you guys right now. About a 7-minute video of some of my thoughts on drawing from life and animal drawing in Montana. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you guys, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
Just like get the volume on.
Yeah, and I'll be able to talk. I think I'll be able to talk over the top of it.
Crank it a little bit. One more. Yeah.
Oh, is it only coming through the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. So recently, my son Dustin, Blaise, and we just went up to Montana in the U.S. This is something I do several times a year, to chase animals basically and draw them. It's so important to me to see animals in the wild, to see them in their natural habitat and draw them from life so that I can understand their form, I can understand their environment, I can understand where they sit. These are wild bison, by the way, too, and you just can get right up to them. To do that than to go on Google, let's say, and try to pull imagery from there. When I go to Montana or some of the other places around the world, I'm always getting a sense of place. I'm smelling the smells and seeing the sights and hearing the sounds and feeling the wind on my face. All of these things add up to an experience that fill my visual library. I'm always talking about that visual library that you fill over time as an artist. You know, there's nothing better than finding a valley full of bison in Yellowstone National Park and sitting on a rock, pulling out my sketchbook and just drawing. You know, very often I'm not there to draw big, beautiful drawings. I want to get a sense of their proportions. I want to get a sense of their shapes. I want to see what they look like in 3 dimensions. What are some of the poses that they take? What are the textures? All those things that you might get in a photograph, but then you might not. Photographs are 2-dimensional. They're flat, and sometimes they'll lie to you. And so when I'm sitting there from life, and it's 35 degrees outside, and I'm freezing, and I'm smelling the fresh air and hearing the bison grunting and seeing them root around, that's a different experience. And that, for me, adds up to something that is going to help me create something that's much more accurate as an artist. And so I like to sit there and fill as many pages as I can with these small gestures. Sometimes I use a brush pen, sometimes I use a ballpoint pen, but it's all about just finding the gesture, finding different shapes that are going to help me describe what these animals look like. On this trip, we were lucky enough to come across a black bear right next to the road that really just hung out and sat and posed for us the whole time. So while there was a whole bunch of photographers along the side of the road, I was able to sit there with my sketchbook and draw. On this trip, this was the first time where I had my son be the photographer, and it really allowed me to set up and just draw the whole time. Very often I'm up there and I'm spending so much time photographing, I'm not able to draw as much as I like. But this time we turned it around, and Dustin shot thousands of photos while I was able to sit and just observe and draw. And this was a huge luxury for me, because when we come back to Florida, back to my studio, I've got the drawings, I've got the observations burned into my brain, but then I've also got photographs that are going to help me back up anatomy, back up some of the posing, and back up some of the environmental elements that I may have missed while I was there. Now, one of the... So, I'm going to stop it right there. I don't want to play the whole video, but that's about half of it. And I just wanted you guys to get a sense of, you know, what it was that we were doing. And because today, what I want to do is pull together a lot of the material that we shot out there, and I just wanted to do a painting from Montana. I've got an idea for a piece already. I saw some scenery that while we were out there that I really fell in love with, and I want to add one of the animals into it that we photographed and drew and all of that. So that's going to be the goal today. And let's get this off of me. Let's get that. But this is a shot. You know, the snow is melting out there, and I love the abstract quality of this imagery. And so I want to use this as a backdrop, and I love how it guides your eye around. And I want to add I think I might add a cougar in there, or maybe a grizzly. I'm not sure which yet.
But grizzly?
A grizzly? You want a grizzly?
Sound like you said grizzly for
a grizzly. Grizzly. But anyway, that's kind of what I want to do there today. So that's going to be the goal. Something quick, because I think this would make a nice big oil painting too, as well. So, but anyway, that's actually it kind of looks like if you look over on the right side, the silhouette of a grizzly or some kind of animal with its mouth open. You know? Yeah. It's kind of cool. But yeah, so we've got. Like I said, we've got Nick in Sarasota. We've got Dustin here, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing some drawing. The other thing I want to mention is today we have started our Memorial Day weekend sale, and everything on the site, I believe Nick said, is 35% off. So go check that out at creatureartteacher.com. That's our website, creatureartteacher.com. And we've got a really great sale going on, a Memorial Day weekend sale. Everything's 35% off. So anyway, I am going to start pulling this stuff together, and we will open it up to questions. I want to show you some of the photos, some of the other photos we took. So here's some of the scenery.
Let me show you something.
Some of the bison. There's Old Faithful, not blowing up. Oh, you know what? This Mama Grizzly was pretty cool. I got a shot. There was a shot in here that I got that I kind of liked, where she was walking toward camera.
There's one that I got that I really liked, of the two of them right next to each other, but they're looking off into the distance and one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Where is it? They were walking toward camera. Obviously, I got a lot of shots here. This is the only time I took photos, but this one, I liked her silhouette. Where is it? Where she's coming toward camera. Actually, walking away isn't too bad here either. Where she's walking away. You know, a lot of times it's just, it doesn't have to be, really great photos for your reference. Yeah, this is where I was thinking about, right in here. Where are we at? Let's look through here.
Somebody commented saying, I hope we'll get more of impersonations today.
Maybe.
We'll see how the day goes. It depends on how I'm feeling.
So this one here looks interesting. I'm just going to... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little snippet here, and then I'm going to blow it up.
Actually, mind if I answer a question? Hey Dustin, what lenses did you use? Most of the time I was using a 75 to 300 millimeter, but not stabilized. Though there were times where Dad let me borrow his 70 to 300 millimeter, and his was stabilized, and that's why I borrowed his quite often. So that was the main one, but a little bit in there was also like an 18 to 55, a nifty 50 millimeter, but mostly it was a 300 millimeter.
Okay, so I'm going to open up a couple of images as reference. So I want to open up, I took some screenshots. Got that one.
Were you with
that
a tour
one.
group or on your own?
No, we were on our own. We were with a group. It's the Expedition Art Group. We're a group of artists that are trying to just change the world with our art and help wildlife and endangered environments and that sort of thing. And so we got together on this trip just because we wanted to get out and fill our sketchbooks. And so we had Peter Hahn, Jaw Cooper, Manny Carrasco, Allison Theus, and myself. And we went out there and drew some pictures, and it was awesome. And photographed. Mars Sa on YouTube asked, "Can you show the sketchbook too, please?" Oh, you could.
One of the many sketchbooks.
Yes, one of the many sketchbooks. One of the Manny sketchbooks.
One of the many sketchbooks.
This one ended up. I don't know if you can see it very well. Can you see these?
See it?
Let me find the. I really was able to fill a lot on this one. But these are some of the little. We went to Animals of Montana Inc., where they brought animals out for us. These are captive animals, and but that are very well taken care of, by the way. And for those of you that are concerned, and we drew them. These are some of the baby red fox that we were sketching, along with baby coyotes. These are baby coyotes right here that were just really awesome. Right there. Let me find another one. Here's a page that I kind of liked. But they were great. Can you see that? There we go. So we got piles and piles. 23 pages that day I did of sketches.
Time to start scanning.
Yeah, yep, you got lots of scanning to do. Dustin, this is the adult coyote. So Dustin is going to be scanning my sketchbooks because we are planning on putting out a book on my sketchbooks, drawing from life, and I think that might be what we call it, is drawing from life. But some of the sketches that that I've been able to do over the that I've done over the years. Here's one I kind of liked of the black leopard. Where is it? Right there. So that was the black leopard there. And then where's the other? Yeah, you can. Did you show it?
No, not yet.
You got to switch it. Careful. Yeah, those are the sketchbooks that he has to scan. So he's got a lot to scan. And then let me see. I wanted to show the Bison and Bears.
Bison?
I don't know which one it
You
was.
said Bison?
Bison?
I'm gonna grab some bison. Who wants some aspirin?
Who wants some aspirin?
Who wants some aspirin?
So these are some of the bear sketches here. And they were just, they're quick little silhouettes. The bear's moving around, he's eating. And I just wanted to get a sense of his form. And I just did piles of these little brush pen, just little impressions of what he might look like. And these are really invaluable for me because while I'm making these observations, I'm looking at shape and form and the relationship between the forms and how their proportions and all that kind of stuff. This one here, this was the bison spooked and started running, and I just really quickly wanted to get an impression of their form as they ran, and so those were really quickly done.
And as the buffalo said to the running calf, "Bye, son."
And then here's some more. Andrew on YouTube asks, "Who does your hair? It looks amazing." I do my own hair. All right, so here we go. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Shoot. I gotta go backwards. This next one I want to show is kind of fun. These are tiny. The bison were about 200 yards away, and so I just did these tiny little brush pen sketches just to get a sense of form, but they're a lot of fun, and you can just fill page after page like this. So I just sat on this rock out there and just, with that little brush pen, just sketched away. So this is just a small example of some of the drawings I was able to do on this trip, and which was awesome. And like I said, Dustin shot a ton of photos. It was great.
Thousands.
Yeah. And Juan Ibalaga Diaz, I'm sorry, I can't say that, on Twitch asks, "Dustin, do you draw or have you ever wanted to learn from your father?"
I did draw back in high school, and I did a little bit afterwards, but I never really pursued it. It was just kind of just a fun little thing to pass the time here and there. But nowadays I mainly do like graphic design and photography now. So that's my thing.
It's your thing.
Do what you want to do.
All right.
Is there anything you're actively trying to improve or expand in your art?
Well, just in general, I'm always trying to improve. I want to
Is there
reverse
anything
this.
specific?
No, I'm always trying to improve my animal drawing. I'm always trying to improve my color. Those are pretty specific things. Composition, design, those, all of that. So yeah, that's normally what I'm trying to do. Man, I got different glasses on today, and they are not working for me. They are the wrong prescription.
Somebody commented, "Dustin is professional with that Adobe button from start of April."
All right, let's see.
That's a fun button.
18 by 24, I'll try that. If I'm up closer, it works okay. Shoot.
These any better?
Oh, you got another set?
I do. I just don't
Hi.
think these are any better.
No, these aren't.
Oh.
That's okay. The ones I was wearing last night, I don't know where they got put. I'm always losing my glasses. Image rotation 90 degrees. All right, so I'm going to go with this 18 by 24 size, and I'm going to make it gray, fill that in, and like I said, a lot of times I could use these as these are like preliminary paintings for oil paintings or preliminary. Oh, you are awesome. Thank you, Vedanta.
How many glasses do you have?
Oh, I've got them all over the house. They're just like little readers that you buy at the grocery store. Oh, that's way better. Thank you.
Quick question. Do you remember your first rookie mistake when you started working at Disney?
My first rookie mistake, yes, when I was a cleanup artist, meaning I had to take the rough animation from the animator and redraw it nice and clean. And I just cleaned up straight ahead every other drawing. I didn't know what keys were, and I really didn't know what in-betweens were. And when it was finally done, the character just grew and morphed and boiled and all kinds of stuff all over the screen, and it looked horrible, and kind of learned my lesson after that.
Oh, was that the Baby Herman?
Yeah, Baby Herman, exactly.
I remember that story quite well.
Yes. Another thing, too, I just want to mention again, once again, we've got a Memorial Day weekend sale, so all tutorials, lessons, and brushes are 35% off. Or more, and that's including memberships. So if you want to get a membership, now's a good time to get a membership to our site. And remember, if you get a membership, you have access to everything. It gives you everything on the site. And so if you want to get a membership today, they're 35% off. So that's a savings of like $70, I think, something like that.
That sounds like a great deal.
Anthony on YouTube asks, what was it like working with Joaquin Phoenix? I love his line as Kenai, you think or you know. You think or you know. To Coda.
I use that all the time.
Yeah. Joaquin was great. He was very, very cool. I really enjoyed working with him. And there was one time that, usually we record all the actors separately, and then we have to pretend that they're actually working together. But we got Jeremy Suarez, who is the voice of Coda. We got them in together one time, and Joaquin actually messed up his line. He called one of his friends Bucky, one of Coda's friends Bucky. And
it was Binky.
Oh, Binky. And so, Jeremy, and when he's delivering his lines, he actually corrects him, and he goes, his name's Bucky, not Binky. And he just went on with it, and we loved it, and so we ended up keeping it in the film.
And he also mistaken the pine nut to be a pine cone.
Oh yeah.
The biggest pine cone ever. It wasn't a pine cone; it was a pine nut. And it was bigger than your fat head.
Yeah, all that was ad-libbed.
That is genius.
Well, for a little 8-year-old it was.
Yeah.
So I want the bear to be about a third, right in there. Right in that area. So I want this to come around.
Oh.
I'm going to change kind of the composition a little bit.
Have you started on the Procreate tutorial?
I have not started on a Procreate tutorial yet, no. Matter of fact, I haven't been working in Procreate very much, and so I got to get back on it just to refresh, and then I'll do a tutorial after that.
And speaking of actors from earlier, who's your absolute favorite actor to work with, and did you ever get starstruck?
I always get a little starstruck because working with well-known actors, they're super talented, and so it's fun. But I think probably one of my favorite, I was always really excited when he came in because we always had a good time, was Michael Clarke Duncan. Unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he was such a pleasure to work with. He always knew his lines right off the bat. He ad-libbed really well, and I really loved working with him. He was just a great, super friendly, gentle giant. And then Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, who did the voices of the moose, they were just awesome. Always, their ability to ad lib, which is their whole background, was incredible. So here I think I want to put his. Your eye comes around, it's going to catch the bear right here. I think I'm going to go ahead and either want to have him completely silhouetted, which I think I might do. Twitch question. Hey Aaron, I easily get distracted by other things while drawing. Do you have any tips for improving focus? Take your ADD medicine. I don't know. No, I don't know. You just really got to concentrate on what it is that you're trying to draw, because I really don't have any problem with that, because I actually have the opposite. I get so enamored and like sucked in by what I'm drawing. Often I miss what's happening around me. So I'm gonna put some trees up in here. I like this background quite a bit. And so here, I've had a lot of people ask about scenery, and because I do so many characters that are just filling the frame. Well, this one I wanted to do an environment today, and so here, remember that environment should always be part of the composition that you're creating. And so here I've got a composition that really works toward the character, in this case the bear, that I'm adding in the image. And I'm thinking about the bear also. I'm going to color him in just a bit. How is he going to look? I want that eye to go right to him. And so the bear, in this case a female, the mama bear, I'm just going to paint her though, so you're not going to know if it's a female or male. But I want that to be the first thing you see, and then you're going to get some movement through the way that I'm putting them, the snow melt and all that kind of thing. Megan Wood on YouTube says, by the way, thank you for recommending the Wacom Cintiq 16. I just got it and it's amazing. I'm glad. When we were in Europe this last month, that's all I used for all of my lectures, and it worked out really great. Lisa says, my charcoal drawings have significantly improved since I did your charcoal video course.
Nice.
That's nice. I couldn't believe how much I improved. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Well, thank you for telling me. I love that. I love hearing stuff like that. That really makes me happy.
I got a quick question over here.
Yeah.
For filming, how do you make sure you don't surpass the budget when working on a film? Is there a department that helps with that?
Yes, there's always a department that is watching the budget, watching our spend. There's several departments, and so we always have to watch out for where we're spending. We budget certain amounts of money for different parts of the film. It's not just an overall budget, although there is an overall budget, but then within the overall budget we break it down, and so sometimes we'll overspend in an area and then we have to pull back in another. I remember on Brother Bear, we were overspending on water effects during the salmon run, and so we had to make some changes. We had to decide, okay, where do we really need to see water, and where can we get away with not seeing water and just carry it with sound effects and that sort of thing. And so that's, some of the questions that we'd have to answer, some of the dilemmas that we would go through while making the film.
It isn't the producer part of that whole budget process?
Oh yeah. The producer's the main part of that budget process. And then we as directors have to handle it from the artistic standpoint.
Do you post your live drawings on your YouTube?
Yes. So go to my YouTube channel, which is Aaron Blaise Art. Go to that, and you will see many of my videos. I've got a lot of videos having to do with some of our, just time-lapse videos of me creating paintings digitally. Other ones are lessons. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on just art tips. So check it out. Robert on YouTube asks, what are your thoughts about Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I loved that movie. I love that movie. I saw it. I was an intern. I was interning at Disney when the movie came out back in 1988. So I saw it with a group of animation interns, and we were just blown away, and loved it. Just absolutely loved it, and I still do. I still just think it's incredible.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that dog that he's the elevator guy in Who Framed
Droopy
Roger
Dog.
Rabbit? Droopy Dog. Yeah, ever since I watched that movie as a kid, every time I go into an elevator, I'm always going it here. Your floor, sir.
That's good.
What are you thinking on when you are putting a price on your art? Like, are your traditional art more expensive than digital, or does it cost more if it took you longer to make the picture?
Yes and yes. So those are good questions. My traditional art is more expensive than my digital because traditional art, there's something physical to hold on to, and it usually takes me quite a bit longer. And I do take into account the amount of time that it takes to create a piece. I missed Nick. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to read. I was about to read it and I didn't get a chance to see it. So
Gosh darn it.
I know if you want to put that back up, Nick, you can. I didn't see what it was.
Nick, do the thing.
So here I'm just rough sketching in kind of the composition of what I want, and then I'm going to lighten this up, and then I'm going to do a final sketch. But this is basically the basic look of what it is that I'm trying to do.
Are you still working in Disney Art Studios?
Nope, I left Disney in 2010, so 9 years ago, April actually of 2010, I left Disney, and so now I am independent and loving life, working to create stuff for you guys, which it really makes me happy.
I say for the 10th year from leaving Disney, I say we go to a Disney park.
No. I've never been one for parks, the Disney theme parks. I've never been into theme parks, and it's funny, I worked in one for 15 years.
I think it'd be really funny if we did that for your 10th.
Yeah, that'd be fun for you.
It would be fun for me just to watch you torture.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just tying down the drawing, and it's a little bit of looking at my reference, but it's also I'm trying to get what's right for the painting as well.
Are there any videos on how to make an animatic for your storyboards?
I'm sure there are. So we don't currently have one. We will be later on, but I'm not sure what's out there currently.
I think Vedanta just responded to, he said, we should go to Disney. He said, no, Dustin. Okay.
So here I picked this one because I love the white claws that she has. That's the sign of a nice mature bear. And she is a strong one. And she's got a nice coat on her too. She's still pretty full shape for a bear that's been hibernating, or not hibernating. Bears don't really hibernate. They go into a stupor, but they don't actually truly hibernate. But for a bear that's been away for as long as she has with her cub, she's in really good shape.
Somebody asked why you left Disney.
Well, I left Disney. That's a long story. I left Disney for a lot of personal reasons that a lot of you guys probably already know. But my wife, Karen, Dustin's mom, at the time she had gotten sick with cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and we were trying to make a movie, but I really wanted to take care of Karen, and it was hard doing both, but eventually, unfortunately, Karen passed away on March 11th of 2007, and I was pretty devastated, and I was never able to really get back into my work. I went back to work, but I was just heartbroken, and I just didn't really have any drive anymore. And so for about 2 years I struggled to try to make the film that we were making, but ultimately I just kind of failed at it. And so John Lasseter and Ed Catmull, the executives at the studio at the time, they took me off the movie, and basically said my directing was done. But they wanted me to stick around in the studio, but I realized at that time that I needed to figure out who I was again. Everything had been kind of up, the rug had been pulled out from under me with the loss of Karen, and Dustin and Austin were heartbroken as well, and just as a family we were a mess, to put it bluntly. And so I decided to leave and start over, and so that's why I left Disney. I know it's probably not the answer you expected. I know it's kind of heavy, but it was a really, if you guys get anything out of this, it was a wonderful lesson in taking a big risk and getting out there and making it work. Disney was the only job I knew, but I also knew that I needed to make a change in my life, and so that's what I did. Also, I want to mention, totally off subject of what I was just talking about, is Imagine Effects, the effects magazine, it's printed in Europe, in England, in the UK. They've just come out, this month's issue. They've done a 7-page, I'm really honored, a 7-page article on me and my career and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of what I'm talking about is actually in the article. So if you get a chance, check out this month's Imagine Effects magazine. And it's really great. It's a really great article. I'm really happy with what they did. And I hope you enjoy it.
Why did you choose to put the leg behind the head? I usually avoid that to give the face a sharper profile. Making a mistake?
No, you're not. You're not making a mistake at all. And I probably could do that, but I liked the silhouette of the arm, the way it's coming forward, and so the face is going to be light over dark anyway, and so I'm going to be able to see the face. So I liked that position. And actually, I think I'm going to do this. I am going to move her just a little bit like that. Move her up a little bit. Just to get her away from that edge. There we go. So that feels pretty good. Maybe, you know what I'm going to do now? You know what I'm going to do, Dustin?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to make her bigger.
Oh my goodness. As big as a bus? As big as a plane, or just as big as a toy car?
There we go. That feels better. I want to get her hump off that. Okay. I'm doing the thing.
Do the thing.
I'm doing the thing.
Did you resize along with the color? With the shade?
Not yet. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to keep it there. That feels pretty good looking at the entire composition. I like that. And that whole thing comes right around. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to do it on another layer. I'm going to continue on with the drawing of the rest of it.
Right. I discovered myself having problems enjoying movies that are older than the mid-'80s. Do you guys have a similar problem with old movies?
No, because I'm old. So
I love it. I love like 40s and 50s.
Yeah,
I go way back in my movies.
Yeah, you do. You've always been that way. You're an old soul. Yeah, I think it just depends on your age. You know, a lot of younger people are that way, and it's just, you know, I think tastes change. Although I do feel like a good movie is a good movie, no matter when it was done. But sensibilities and tastes and storytelling and all that change over time, and so, you know, I can see how, you know, some of the older films might not appeal to a younger audience.
Sarah recommends move the reflection.
Move the reflection?
Yeah, because I think when you move the bear.
Oh, that'll move. I got to draw it first. The reflection, that's just the underlying sketch.
You got to draw it now.
No, I don't.
Draw it now.
No, I don't have to.
Do it.
No, I don't have to.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Do it.
No, Arnold, no.
You got to get to the chopper. Go.
You're just looking for an excuse to do an impression.
Yeah. But somebody did actually say move the reflection. I just kind of worked off of that.
There we go. Nick says, pacing changes for sure. Nick, in reference to the films, pacing changes for sure. There are a lot of 70s films that he finds hard to watch. Nick finds hard to watch. Yeah. It's really interesting.
But kind of just like the way.
If you look at some of the films, you know, look at some old films that are like Best Picture nominees or winners. They're wonderful films, but they're hard to watch nowadays. Stanley Kubrick, you know, try getting through a lot of his films. It's tough stuff.
Tough stuff.
But they're genius films.
My personal favorite movies from like the 60s and 70s would be like Dirty Harry. Like,
yeah.
Mostly Clint Eastwood stuff like Dirty Harry, Good, Bad, Ugly.
Yeah, those are action flicks and shoot 'em up flicks. Yeah. I'm not dissing you, just saying. I hear you moaning over there. Well, yeah. Dad. So getting the kind of the scalloped surface of this snow is going to be interesting. And I want to do this relatively quickly today. I want this just to be kind of a color sketch. Lines of Rajah asks, do you have any advice on drawing animal characters' eyes? I do, actually. They come out flat even if the depth of the rest of the head is fine. Let me give you a little lesson. Lines of Rajah. Let me do this really quick. All right, so let me save this. Montana.
Will we ever see any more Aaron's art tips on the YouTube channel?
Yes, we're starting to get back into those. But they're going to be done in a different form. So like the video I showed you today, it's about drawing from life and drawing animals from life. We're just changing. I'm trying to get a little bit more artful in how we do our filming. So like the video that I did, that we did last week, where drawing is like pasta.
Drawing is like cooking pasta.
It's like cooking pasta. It's going to be that kind of things. They're going to be a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more artsy. But we are definitely getting back into it. But before we go any further, don't ask me any more questions. I'm trying to get this eye done.
Fine.
I got to do a new, and let's do 5 by 5 inches. That'll be nice. So let me talk about animals' eyes just for a second. Let's go ahead and fill this in.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. First of all, a lot of the animals' eyes, they have a little bit of a slant on them, just like we do. You know, they're not just flat. So keep that in mind. There we go. That's what I want. So notice how I'm drawing this oval shape. Ovaltine? But the axis is kind of like that. Okay, so keep that in mind. Depending on the animal, the corner of the eye can be big, can be small, There's usually, you know, a little eyelid underneath and a big eyelid on top. You know, this could be like a deer or a cow or an elephant or whatever. And if it's a cat, you know, a cat could have, you know, really big dark lines in there like so. You might have a big iris, you know, depending on the animal. But one thing I like to think about, let's say it's a dark eye. So I'm going to color it in. Okay. So a lot of animals will have a dark eye. You can't really see the whites of the eye, and then they might have a really dark pupil area. Depending on the animal. But you're saying, yeah, it can flatten out. Well, it definitely can flatten out. Let's do this as well. Let's say this is all fur. Actually, I should blow this up. This is for you, lines of Rajah. So think about, when you're thinking about eyes, there's two things you want to think about. The reflective surface of the eye and how light affects that. And then the inside of the eye with the iris and the pupil, how light affects that. Now in this case, we have a dark eye. So in this, we don't have to worry too much about what's happening on the inside because it's super dark. Okay? I'm going to go a little darker with this. So what we want to think about is what's happening on the surface. Well, a lot of times, especially if an animal is outdoors, we've got a light source, right? So I'm going to set this to multiply. And we're just going to, I'm going to think about, okay, where is there going to be shadow? Well, there's going to be shadow under the eyelid. You know, under here, it's going to be casting a shadow. And it might cast a shadow right onto the eye. Like so. And then you've got the bottom lid is also going to go into shadow. Like so. Maybe a little bit of shadow in there. Okay. And we might even get under the surface a little bit of shadow on the eye itself. Okay. Now let's do, where's the light going to be hitting? The light, well, the light will hit along the top of the eyelid. It's also going to hit along the top of the eyelid underneath. You know, actually what I'll do here is we'll do this. Like so. Actually, I'm going to go a little darker with that. So you'll get a nice light along that part of the eyelid and some nice light up here. I'm doing this very quickly. Okay, now one thing, your eye is going to be really reflective, okay? And because it's reflective, it's going to show some of the outside world. And so let's say we have a light source that's kind of up and to the right. Well, first of all, our eye is going to reflect some of that sky. And in that reflection, you're going to have a little bit of ground showing. It's going to go dark. Right about in there. Okay? Maybe a little bit down this way. So you're gonna get some reflection like so. And now if it's in the sunlight, you might get a little bit more brightness right in here. And then it might go even brighter right about in here. And then maybe we go super bright right about here. So you get a nice reflection happening there. But as that light comes down, what's also happening, it's going to hit other areas. So you've got a little bit of wetness in the eye right where it meets the eyelid, and that's going to catch, and all the little imperfections are going to catch a little bit of light. Maybe here in the corner of the eye where it's wet will catch little bits of light. Okay, maybe we got a little bit of a highlight up in there, just a touch. But these are all little things that I think about when I'm doing an eye. Now, one more thing that we can change, I want to show you, is what if we see the whites of the eye? So let me turn these off. Let me turn all the, where's the drawing? Where's our drawing? It's right here. So let me come back into here. And now I'm going to erase away this. Like so. There's a YouTube question. Hi, Aaron. I was wondering how you bring light drama into a painting when your reference only has the base colors, no particular light. That's a good idea. I'm going to show you in just a second. So here, I'm going to go a little bit gray. I don't go white with the white of the eye, because you want to be able to to brighten it up. Like so. I want to be able to have a place to go with it. Go brighter and whatnot. Let's just go with a brownish eye in here. Now the thing about an iris is that it's shaped like a bowl. It's very interesting. So there's the iris there, and I'll show you what I mean. There, so there's a pupil. Now the iris, if we were to turn it on its side, it would look like this. If you looked at the iris, this part of the eye right here, it looks like this, with the pupil inside. Okay? That's what it looks like inside the eye. There's the surface of the eye right there inside. So the surface of the eye is here, but when you're looking inside, it's actually shaped like a bowl. Okay? So if light is coming in from here, this edge of the bowl is going to be dark. The shadow is going to be over here, and this part is going to catch light. Okay? So, with that being said, whoops, I want to erase this back a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow right in here. Just like that. Go a little darker with it. Let's add some more shadow right here. Right on here.
Right on here.
Get on over here. As my gym teacher used to say. Blaise, get over here. Like that. Okay? Often you'll have that in a lighting situation. Well, what happens on, whoops. What happens on this side? Well, let's brighten that up. It's going to catch light. Whoops.
switch.
Long layer. So it's going to catch light. It would be a little brighter. And then on top of all of that, we still have our lighting situation. Now I'm going to go not quite as bright with the sky, or not as heavy. But it's still there. There we go. Just like that. And then once again go a little, maybe a little brighter right in here. Because I want it right at the center of that darkness on the iris. And then right in here, whoops, go a little brighter. Like so. And then we can still do our little highlight along the bottom, like that. But that will give your eye a little bit of depth. Now granted, I kind of blew through this kind of quickly, but that's the thinking on eyes and the way I think about them, the way I approach them. Obviously you can go much deeper into it. There. But there you go. So that's my approach for eyes. Okay. YouTube. Hey, I know you draw many animals. Do you feel comfortable drawing humans as well as animals? I certainly do. As a matter of fact, I've got an entire course on human anatomy on my website. I do a lot of people.
Are you good for questions now?
Yeah, I got two more here. Do you have, Aaron, Twitch question, do you have any anatomy tips for adding limbs to animals? I've been trying to get a design going for an 8-legged horse, but I can't get it to look logical. Well, you have to think about what's underneath to make it look logical. You know, think about that structure. How would the skeleton look for an 8-legged horse? How would the musculature attach to that skeleton? And once you start thinking about that, you know, legs, they either need to attach, you know, to a scapula like we have on our arms. A horse has, you know, the front legs attached to the scapula, back legs attached to a pelvis. Maybe you have a pelvis that has multiple sockets, but you still need to have that pelvis. You need to have the muscles. Think about that musculature and the structure underneath the muscles, the bone structure. Think about that, and then start attaching limbs in a logical way, and that's how you can do it. You know, think about some of the stuff that I've seen that that's been done well. Look at Terrell Whitlatch. She's a creature designer. She does this. If you look at like Pegasus and the way the wings would attach to a Pegasus, wings need to be extremely powerful and they need muscles to drive those wings. So when you see people draw horses and they just attach some wings to them, there's no way that horse would ever fly. But if you have a horse that has built in around the rib cage the way the muscles might attach in a logical way for wings to beat and carry something so heavy, those are the things you want to think about. It's that type of approach. Mirith on YouTube says, hello, this is really great to understand the eye. Super helpful. Oh, good. I'm glad it is. Very glad.
Were you part of the Lion King team?
I was part of the Lion King team, not the new Lion King.
The old one.
The old Lion King, yes.
Have you ever been to Norway?
I've never been to Norway. I would love to go to Norway, but I've never been. For the person that asked about, was I part of the Lion King team, I animated young Nala. I was the supervising animator and creator of young Nala. Gotta get this right here.
On your YouTube channel, you have videos showing us how to get started with the Cintiq, from plugging it in to setting up Photoshop, file size, brushes, all that.
Yep, I do. Just go check it out.
Go to the YouTube. Could you draw a nose like bears or wolves?
Could I? Oh, you want me to draw one like as a demo?
I think that's what they're asking. Yeah.
Sure.
That's my gift.
Whoops. There we go. This is my cheating way of doing the reflection. Boop.
Nice.
Nice, eh? That's nice.
That's nice.
Nice. And then I can distort it later. But there's my nice reflection. Now you'll notice that he's closer to the edge here than here. That's because the angle change is slightly different. Now, granted, this bear that I've drawn in the reflection, you would see more of the underbelly. So I'm going to change that just a touch. And actually you'd see less of the back. More underbelly. I'll just switch it that way. There. Boop.
Bloop.
Boop. A little boop. Boop.
Bloop.
Boop. All right, so then why did I do that? Why did I do that, Dustin?
I don't know. Why did you do that?
I don't know. I screwed up. Hold on.
What did you do?
Oh, I'm just an idiot. I screwed up a lot. Let me move this.
Do you have any desire of learning another language?
Always. I want to learn Spanish very badly.
Bonjour, ¿cómo estás?
No, bonjour. That's French, buddy.
I know.
Bonjour,
Followed by ¿cómo estás?
bonjour, ¿cómo está? Whoops. Doggone it. There we go.
We got ourselves the age-old question. How's Snow Bear coming along?
Snow Bear is coming along wonderfully. Matter of fact, this week I'm getting started on layout for Snow Bear. There it is, right there. This is where I messed up on the reflection. I wasn't paying attention because I was running my mouth talking. Let me do this. This is the best way for me to see the reflection. Almost like symmetry. I want it to be symmetrical. Now I can move this guy down just a touch. There. And now I'll move this down here. Okay. Ari Illustrates on Twitch asks, are you going to be looking at portfolios at the Lightbox Expo? So do you prefer to see tablet portfolios or folder portfolios? I rather see tablet portfolios. And, doggone it. Hold on. There we go. And I'm not sure if I'm looking at portfolios yet or not. If Bobby Chu wants me to, then I probably will.
Bob Chu wants you to.
If Bobby Chu wants me to, I probably will.
Have you ever met or worked with Peter DeSava?
Yes, Peter DeSev.
Peter DeSev. Sorry. Do you have worked with him?
Indirectly, yes. We know each other, and we've worked. I can't remember what it was, but I know he's been with Blue Sky for a long time. There we go. So that feels better. Now I got a reflection that's working right.
That's more like it.
All right. And one of the things I can do. Watch this.
You can do something.
Watch this.
I'm watching.
Watch.
I'm watching.
I said watch.
I'm watching.
I said watch.
I'm watching. I'm watching what you're doing.
I can come in here.
I'm kind of impressed so far.
Do this. Boop. Turn that off. It's going to distort them a little bit this way.
Ah. Make it look a little wavy.
Yeah. There's a little distortion. Just a little bit. I'll go and make it more convincing later. But there's something there. So I want to go ahead and start painting. So I'm putting a layer underneath everything. And I want to start laying in the rough color. It was pretty gray and cold out. Ambient light. Although I might... This is kind of screaming to have light thrown at it. Here we go. And for the person that asked me how I change light, this is what I'm going to show you. So here's the background color for the sky. Now, in one direction, the sky is kind of cold and gray. That's what I'm doing here. In the other direction, that's off screen behind us, I'm going to make this like it's the sun is breaking through the clouds. And so it's going to be casting light across all of this.
Question?
And the bear will be in light on the left side, casting a shadow up the snow. Yes, I am ready for a question.
That's for every time you do a pause and I'm about to ask a question, you continue again. It's like,
I know.
nah.
It's my duty.
It's your duty. I don't know if this question was answered already, but will you be doing a course on how to draw birds?
Yes, I'm doing a course. My next animal drawing course will be on birds of prey. But I will be getting not just birds of prey. I'll be doing songbirds, water birds, wading birds, all kinds of stuff. Seabirds.
Are you excited for the new live action Aladdin?
I am. I'm really excited about it, actually. I'm really curious to see how they've handled it. So, yes. The answer is yes. Very, very excited. So I'm just laying in the roughest of color right now.
Are bears your favorite animals, and have they been your favorite animal before working on Brother Bear?
Bears are, I wouldn't say they're my favorite. I don't know that I have a favorite, but they're right up there because I really enjoy drawing and painting bears. I love their form. They've always been something that I've enjoyed, although probably since Brother Bear, they've gotten more enjoyable, I guess.
That does sound like a favoritism thing. So
yeah, a little bit, but I would say, any of the big game I love drawing. So whether it's bears or big predators, lions, big cats, I really love. But I mean, I like any kind of, I love drawing and painting elephants, let's say. What's going on? Why am I?
I think the most common has been bears. I've personally noticed, from Ollie's to Snow Bear to
yeah, I would agree with that. So here I'm just laying in the roughest of local color. We're going to add shadows and whatnot later. Easy, watch your mouth.
Oh,
We're on live TV, Dustin.
my bad.
Yeah,
I said fudging.
there you go.
Do you like animated documentaries, animadocs?
Animated documentaries. I've never heard of an animated documentary.
I think it's similar to that of Robert Johnson documentary that they did on Netflix.
Was that animated?
There was a bit of animation in that. I mean, there were still people
Okay, I didn't know that was I mean, I've seen films or documentaries where they use animation in them as part of. I wouldn't call that a whole genre, like animated documentaries. I don't know, but yeah, sure. I don't know why I'm working so small.
And similar question to that of Aladdin. What are your thoughts about the live action of Lion King? I don't think I can handle Mufasa's death again.
I'm really excited to see it. There's a lot of purists out there that keep crapping on it, but I'm really, really excited to see it. So I'm a big Jon Favreau fan too as a director. I think he's great. So we'll see.
I think people are.
Ah, shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to keep those separate.
I think people are that way because Disney keeps calling it a live action, but it's
not that. I think people just don't want to see it made, or at least I know a lot of animators don't. People that I've worked with in the past that are all, wah, I worked on it first. All right.
Have you seen the documentary Walking with Dinosaurs?
Yes.
That was like a while ago.
Yeah, that was Frame Store in England did that. Geniuses. Ali on YouTube asks, "Hi, I'm an art student and my dream job is to be a Disney animator." That's awesome. What are some entry-level jobs that I can apply for after I graduate? Bus driver? Justin's not even listening.
I was reading something like that.
I don't know what's entry level right now. I mean, I wouldn't call any job you have in filmmaking and animation. I wouldn't call any of them entry level because every job is important. There are certain jobs that you just don't get right off the bat, like directing and department head and that sort of thing. But coming out of school, if I were you, I would focus on being a generalist with a specialty in one area. I think generalists have a better chance of getting a job because they can do multiple things. And so, let's say, you want to be a modeler, but you can also rig, or you want to be a rigger, but you can also model, that sort of thing. And so I would look at things that way and then see where it goes from there.
Stephen O'Brien asks, but says, went to both the workshops in Dublin. Best live streams I've ever seen. 'Twas a pity Dustin was no show.
Yeah, I had a great time in Dublin.
Oh, I bet you did.
We had a great time, so thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you again. We will. We're working on it. That was a long time being away from home, though, I gotta say. So I'm really just getting a sense of layout right here, right now. Right here, right now. All right, so here I want to get a little bit of the trees here. Here. Get on over here. So I'm just going to rough in some of these trees. I'm going to keep it very, very rough for right now.
Do you think you're going to blur those out?
Nope. I'm going to keep everything in sharp focus. I don't like it. Go back to here. I'm going to keep everything in sharp focus.
Everything sharp?
Sharp.
Sharp like blade.
Sharpie. All going to be Sharpie.
It's a sharp blade, dearie.
All right. So I'm just... There we go. That's what I want. Nice and dark. I want a dark taste. Alright, here we go.
Make it dark like my soul.
Just want to get these trees. I want to get the shape language working right on them. Just make them feel accurate.
We got no new questions on my end.
All right.
How's your day going so far?
Me?
Yeah.
Going pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, pretty good.
You have a good lunch earlier?
Yeah, yeah, pretty good. So here I'm just adding.
So, have you also seen Walking with Beasts? The
Yes.
one with prehistoric mammals like saber-toothed cats and woolly mammoths?
Yes, I have. I didn't like that one as much as I liked Walking with Dinosaurs.
I don't think I've seen the Walking with Beasts. I'm pretty sure I've seen the Walking with Dinosaurs though.
Oh yeah, you have. Daphne O PM on YouTube asks, do you have, Daphne O on YouTube asks, do you have any advice on how to do in-betweens? Or how to improve? Because I don't know why, but I can do keys and breakdowns that feel good to me with squash and stretch, overlap, follow through, arcs, etc. But I don't like when I do in-betweens. It feels like I'm over animating. Well, the in-betweens are a necessary part. You know, if you want smooth animation, you know, you gotta put those in-betweens in there. And you're asking two different questions. Is there I think. First of all, you're not over animating if it's adding, you know, if you want fast action, you put less in-betweens. You want, you know, relatively smooth, slow action, then you add more in-betweens. But it really, you know, you don't want it to feel like it's underwater either. So there's definitely a happy medium somewhere in there. Here we go. I think that's what you asked anyway on the in-between front. So these trees, I want to take these trees and I'm going to repeat them.
It's a repeat.
Yeah, repeat. And then I'm going to edit and I'm going to vertically flop them and drag them. Bring them down here. There we go, right about there. And then edit, free transform.
They can barely see the trees.
Barely see the trees for the road behind it. Okay, there we go.
As the buffalo said to the little calf, "Bye, son."
You've already used that one.
Huh?
You already used that.
I know, but for people that are new here.
Okay, gotcha. So there's our reflections. Our reflections. That feels pretty good.
Do you have a
I think it's okay.
Huh?
Just kidding. That's funny.
Do you have any good book or do you have a good book or anything to help with spacing and timing and animation?
Yeah, I would say Richard Williams' book is great about that. So check out Richard Williams' book. I think it's the Animator's Handbook or Animator's. I can't remember what it's called, but it's great. It's great.
It's great.
There we go.
And for in case you didn't realize, the reason why I did that pun was because the barely see the trees, that was a pun that he intends.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. All right. Okay, I hear you.
Barely.
Gotcha.
There.
Okay, so here now I want to kind of move it around. Look at it horizontally. It feels pretty good. So now it's all about giving it some light, some shape. And Andy on YouTube asked, do you have a format in mind when choosing your canvas proportions? I don't. I try to make them standard sizes so that when it comes time to frame them, it's easier to frame them. So I do that. I'm going to set this to multiply. But that's usually, I do have favorite proportions. I like a 2 by 1. That's probably my favorite proportion. 2 wide by 1 high. That could be 24 inches by 12 inches, 36 inches by 18 inches. Anything that's one unit high by 2 units wide. That's my favorite proportion. Oh, there we go. Here we go. I want to go into the blue, gray. I've got it set to... Oops. So I want to start adding some shadow. Aaron, do you approach drawing animals from life different than from photos? Not really. Maybe a little bit. Obviously with photos, you can just kind of sit down and relax and go at it. When I'm drawing from life, I'm looking for the gesture that I try to get down really quickly. And then I'm looking, back and forth quite a bit with the animal, trying to get, there we go, trying to get accurate proportions and that sort of thing. So, what that means is, let me get this really quick. A lot of times when I'm drawing from life, I'm thinking about the animal in 6 different parts. There's the head, neck, shoulders, front arms, body, and then pelvis and back legs. Matter of fact, let me show you really quick. I just happen to have let me go to Keynote, File, Open Recent, Animal Drawing Lecture. Imagine that. I just happen to have an animal drawing lecture right here, because we were talking about this just the other day. So, these are the things I keep in mind. One of the things is right here, breaking the animal up. Can I do this? No, I can't. Escape. So I break the animal up into its 5 parts. There's the head, neck, front legs and shoulders, body, pelvis and back legs, and then tail. And those are the main masses of the body. And one of the other reasons why I break them up that way is that those are the parts that overlap each other when you see them foreshortened. Okay, so for instance, here is a cat foreshortened. There's the head, and then the neck, then the shoulders and front legs, then the body, then the pelvis and back legs, and then the tail. Those are the parts that I think about when I'm drawing. And so when I sit down to draw animals from life, I'm looking for those shapes and how they relate to one another. Okay? So that's pretty much what I'm thinking about when I'm doing that. Nick asks, what about moving the bear up so he breaks the plane line of the ridge of snow? I was thinking about that, but I wanted to see what he looks like silhouetted. I wanted him to be completely silhouetted by the white snow. And the other thing too is if I move him up, it's going to push him way back in the frame, and just from a perspective standpoint. And I want to have him a bit closer. So here I'm just... Alder on YouTube says, I think there is a little something wrong with that shadow. It should be surrounded by snow. Something wrong with that shadow. It should be surrounded by snow. I'm not sure I know what the heck you're talking about. But this one's going to come over here. And it's going to come basically this way. Just haven't gotten to it yet. And then this here is the underside. That's going to go up that way. That all kind of feeds into here and whatnot.
And whatnot.
Whoops.
Are you ready for another question, or are you still...
Yeah, go for it.
How do you animate a character coming in from off screen? I'm having some trouble with it.
How do you animate a character coming in from off screen? You just animate them onto the screen. I'm not quite sure I understand the question. How do you animate a character coming in from off screen? Imagine them completely off the screen. That's what you're going to have to do. And what are the parts that are coming into the frame first? You know, and think about that. Draw them out. Draw them out completely off frame. That's another way of doing it. So a lot of this snow is the shapes are going to be a little funky. Just laying in a pattern right now. The bear itself is going to have right about here. Question.
It always seems to me that reflections are a bit darker than the subject. Is that my imagination? If not, will you be darkening the reflection later?
Yes, I'll be darkening the reflection later for this, but they aren't always darker. It depends. On a sunny day with muddy water, the reflections will be lighter. There's certain conditions where the reflections will be lighter. Alder on YouTube says, sorry, that should have said, I think there is a little something wrong with that reflection. It should be surrounded by snow. No, it shouldn't, actually, because the perspective is different. Let me rotate this around. Like this. This perspective is going back like this. And if you think about the plane of the water in relationship to this part of the snow, this is going back at a different angle. Okay, so let me rotate this around again. This part of the snow, if you think about the angle, the plane, that angle of the plane of the water in relation to these planes of snow, this in perspective, it's going the right way. Think about. Let me see if I can draw this for you. Gotta see if I can do this the right way. I gotta. So if we have, think of it this way. If we have, whoops, arg.
Oopsies.
I didn't draw. I drew on the wrong. I drew on the background. I hate it when I do that.
Done this so many times. I'm sure every artist has had that happen.
Okay, so think of it this way. If we look at an edge like this, and you have something that comes down like this, okay? Now, if you bring that together, notice how this, even though these are equal, see how these are equal? Because of the angle that we're at, we don't see this other plane. Now we can drop down a little lower. Watch this. We can drop down lower. Okay, so there's that top piece. Let's imagine this being water. Okay? Now, because we're lower, we'll see that top plane, but notice how this distance here and this distance are still different. Okay? Because reflections work in this way. Okay? So now if I get right down at water level, at the edge, they're going to be equal. But my eye would have to be like right in the water. Okay? So, thinking about that snow
And the camera angle.
and the camera angle, let's say we have the snowbank coming down, and then it cuts back. Let me move this down here. And it cuts back, and it comes like this. And here is our water level. Now I'm pretending that we're cutting through the snow on the right side so that you can see our angle, because our angle is about like this. Okay? So here's our snow up here. Our bear is right about here. Okay? Now, that's our cut through right here, okay? This is how reflections work. Okay, so that's if we slice it. So now the way you figure out your reflection accurately is you're going to come like this. You want it to be equal distant from here to here, okay? And then we're going to go here and here and here. So that because it's in perspective, that's what it looks like, okay? Now our bank is going to come this way and come down towards the edge. Now one thing I did here is look at this. Actually, in this version that I'm showing you, you don't even see that top plane. Now the bear, which you'll see here, is about like this. That's what the reflection will look like. Now, I can bring this up. Let's bring this up higher and have it look like this. Okay? Now if we do that, you got to go equidistant, right about here. Actually, might even have to bring it up even higher. And then here, we'll catch just a small piece of that snow. Okay? That's how that works. So, so when you're looking at reflections, think of them in that way. That you have to think about the plane of the water. Okay? And then the perspective of how the object that is being reflected sits on that water. Okay? And that's how you're going to get your reflection. Imagine that plane of water slicing through whatever it is that's being reflected, and you have to draw the two halves. And that's how it's going to work. So there's the reflection right there. Now let's say, here's another version. You know, let's say you have a tree and it's on a bank. Once again, let's draw this bank and slice through it. Okay, so there's our slice through. Here's our water's edge right here. So what do we want to do? We want to put it in perspective like that. So where's the top plane? Well, that top plane comes like this, which means that tree is going to be right about here. And it's going to be much flatter. It's going to look like this. Okay? So these are things that you want to think about when you're drawing water, when you're creating reflections. All right? I hope that makes sense. It's all about perspective. Think about the perspective. So once again, let's do something extreme. If we do that, there's our two halves. There's our bank up on top. There's the plane of the water. And if we do that, we don't even see a reflection. Okay? There is no reflection to be seen, because that plane that's receding back off the water is underneath. Okay? Now if we drop down lower, do Do the same thing. There's the bank. Well, actually, I'm going to bring it this way. Actually, I didn't even drop low enough yet because the plane of the water is right about there. So you might get that much reflection coming off of it. Okay? So let's do one more. We'll do a steep bank. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. All in perspective. Like so. So all our, everything is this way. All right, now here's the water's edge. So we want the same height. There's the plane of the water coming through. Same height coming down. Do, 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 do. And now, in perspective, we draw this back. There's our reflection right there. So if you wanted to draw through, this is what the reflection would look like. And you can put, ripples or whatever on there. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you all. That makes sense to you, Dustin? You didn't even listen, did you? So anyway, so that's why the plane looks the way it does. Because it's the angle of the water is different. Is lower. There we go. So now, I'm adding, what am I doing? I'm adding shadows. Shadows. Man, it is freaking hot in here.
It's not that bad.
I'm burning up. We're pulling some cool air. There we go. Actually, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad little course on
Shadows?
perspective and not just shadows, but reflections. Like a little, how to think about your reflections.
That'd be a cool one. Make that like a short YouTube video.
Yeah. So here, I'm wanting, if I want this shadow to be coming up, then this whole side of his body is going to be bathed in light. And I want this shadow right along here. It's just going to be along the edge. I want all this kind of scalloped shapes in here. They're all different. I'm just very roughly putting them in. We're not going to get through this today. I'm not going to get through all of it. But we'll get through some of it.
There's just too much detail to go through.
Yeah. I'm just going to get it in rough.
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 Rough. You're going to get it in there nice and rough. Man, I am rusty with my Sean Connery.
Was that what that was? That Sean Connery?
I was trying.
That was terrible.
I'm embarrassed.
I'm just throwing in some shapes. Here, and there.
Here and there.
Here.
Here. How do you animate a character moving in slow motion?
You add more in-betweens. That's all. No, that's really what you do. You just add a lot more in-betweens. Lots and lots and lots of in-betweens. What do you got for me, Nick? Nick.
Barge. Yeah, I'm out of questions over here.
All right, so we got this guy coming around. Now I'm going to start working. I'm going to work the shadow on him over here. Oh, and on the local color, Should be like that.
How much is TV Paint, and why would you recommend that over a different software?
TV Paint for me is the best for feeling like I'm working traditionally. I really like their brushes. As far as the price goes, I think for students, it's around $600 or $700. I know on our website you can get a discount if you get a membership to our website. It's a pretty substantial discount of about, I think it works out to be a little over 30%.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's big. YouTube comments. Yes, please do that. I don't think there is a course like that anywhere. Even a lesson on curved reflections like on glass would be awesome. Well, actually, that, the curved reflections on glass or chrome, those are all extensions of what I was just talking about. It's really thinking about projection. Think about the surface of a plane and then projecting. And that's how you get your reflections.
Where do you determine where to do breakdown frames?
It really depends on the movement that you're trying to get across. So breakdowns are literally the drawings that are not quite in-betweens. They're not quite a key, but they're not an in-between either, because they're still defining a movement. And so that really depends on the movement. There's no set answer on, okay, this is a breakdown. It depends on what it is that you're trying to get across. So I'm working very quickly right now. Nick says the standard versions of TV Paint, not Pro, for students is only $250. So there you go. I didn't know it was that cheap. That's awesome. And that to me is really cheap. Because once it's not a license, you own it. Daniel on YouTube asks, "Hi Aaron, did you know Walt Stanchfield, the art director at Disney?" Yes, I did know Walt Stanchfield. I knew him very well. I took a lot of my gesture classes, my drawing classes, from him when I was an intern back in the 80s. Walt was one of the nicest guys I'd ever met, Walt Stanchfield, and he was one of the most knowledgeable when it came to telling a story through your drawings. He really taught me a lot.
In your perspective, what are shading mistakes? Or what shading mistakes do people normally make?
Well, I think the biggest shading mistake that you can make is just not really thinking about the logic of what it is that you're creating a shadow for. Think about the logic. Where's that light coming from? Where's the light bouncing off of? Is there bounced light? Is there reflected light? Is there, where's the core of your shadow? Where's the deepest dark? Where's your lightest light? These are all questions that I ask myself as I begin to add lighting into a subject. So think about the logic. Don't just start adding shadows just because they're there. Just because you want to add shadows. Shadows are created from light. So you got to think about that light. What do I think about Bob Kuhn paintings? I think Bob Kuhn was one of the greatest masters for animal art. Bob Kuhn. Where is he? Oh, come on. I've got his book on my shelf, and I was looking at it the other day, and I put it back someplace different, and now I can't remember where I put it. Oh! Driving me nuts. It drives me nuts. Arr, I've got Bob Kuhn right here. Bob Kuhn was one of my favorite wildlife artists, and he was incredibly humble. I remember talking with him one time, trying to get him to come and speak at Disney, and he was like, "Oh no, there's nothing I can teach you guys. You guys are already experts. Yeah, there's nothing." And we're like, "Oh my God, Bob Kuhn, we want to learn from you." and but he was just incredibly humble. Overlay. So I'm going to give him. I'm going to go on the light side of the bear. Oops. Just going to hit a little bit of lighter areas here. Warm her up a little. Give her a little texture. A little texture. Yeah, I'm not going to take this all the way through today, unfortunately, because we're not going to have time. But I'm just laying this in quickly.
I have no time.
No time.
No time. We got to get down.
Right here. And then the other thing I neglected to do here, right about there, there. There we go. A couple little tracks. Little tracks. Little bear tracks. There we go.
One burger rice. We have time.
I'm sure you have time. I do not. Unfortunately. I'm going to bring this down into here, this range. Maybe even more.
Do you also do black and gray streams?
Black and gray streams? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I was talking about the river reflections, or if you're talking about like
I'm not sure.
black and white live streams, or I need to be more specific, man.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what you're asking.
Throw me a bone here.
Actually, I'm going to do this.
I still don't understand. Try to comment something else. I was like, what harder, black and gray or color?
What? Arg!
Black and gray art. I think he's talking about like black and white art.
Yeah, we no, I don't usually do that, but we could. Okay, so here, what I want to do is get a little bit of. I want to fade out. I want this to be a little bit abstract in the background here. So these are catching light, catching a little bit of light behind him on the left side, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Oh. Just a little bit.
YouTube question: do you sometimes work with tones, gray, and then add local color after? I have done that. I don't usually do that though. I have done it. It's just not the way I prefer to work. I prefer to go right into. Now, if I'm doing a thumbnail, I'll thumbnail it out in gray, tones of gray, black and white, and then I'll add color later. Arg!
What's harder to make, black and gray art or color art?
I think color is harder just because it's you're having to think not just value, but you're having to think temperature as well. So when you're having to do that, you're forcing yourself to kind of take an extra little bit,
My burger wrote, "Good luck, Dustin, for scanning 13 sketchbooks." Thank you. Is it 13 sketchbooks?
Sure, it's somewhere in there.
One. Yep, 13 sketchbooks.
someone,
Right on the money.
Someone counted.
Someone counted.
There we go. So we're catching a little bit of light. Let me do a thing on the right here.
Right in the front.
Right in the. Let me do that. There we go. Right in the front. All right. So here I'm going to go. Just do this on overlay, and let's grab some nice warm sun. All right, son. Bye, son.
Bye, son.
YouTube question. Can you please make a video later on in ghosting for animation? I would really appreciate it because I'm having a really difficult time animating it. Ghosting? I'm not familiar with that term. I don't know what ghosting in animation means. Maybe I should. I mean, I've been in animation my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but for 30 years, I should know what ghosting is, but unless it's a different term, unless I know it as a different term. Hi, Aaron. Are you planning this year to draw special artwork for Mermaid? You know, I was, but I've just been so busy. Actually, you know, one of these I should probably do a Mermaid drawing, but I've got so much work on my desk, I just haven't been able to do it. So the short answer is no. Sorry. Sorry, Tom Bancroft.
And my burger wrote also, Dustin didn't count, he just thought too many.
Yeah.
For sketchbooks. What if the bear slides into water just before you finish the painting and he can't swim? What do you do?
Well, move on.
Alright, buddy, you're on your own.
So just creating some snow texture.
Snow? It's a bit snowy. Is it a bit chilly?
Nick says, really, you can't draw a mermaid in the next 8 days? Not in the way that I want to. And I'm going to Moscow. I've got Snow Bear to create, to animate. I've been wanting to get started on that, the layout, for a couple of weeks now. And I keep getting pulled aside.
Do you even do one simple little mermaid sketch?
I don't want to do a simple one. I want to do if I'm going to do one, I want to do an awesome one.
Everything is awesome. Oh, somebody defined what ghosting is. It means you see the layer before and after with a lower opacity. It helps you do the in-betweens.
Oh, that's onion skin.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, onion skin.
So I guess it's like a
well, first of all,
modernized version of
yeah. Well, first of all, don't depend on that. You should be able to see the movement. The way I learned was see it through flipping. Flip the drawing so that your eye continues the movement. Don't depend on seeing it through what's like a light box, a light table. Really try to get yourself to see it through flipping the drawing, so you're getting the movement.
Yeah, because you can see the movement better when you're flipping it.
Well, it's not just that, but you'll feel where the in-betweens are supposed to go. Gotcha. Okay, fine.
What are you saying? Okay.
Oh, Nick, because of the mermaid thing. He goes, really? You can't do a mermaid in the next 8 days? I guess I could. But do I want to?
Yeah, what do you do if you have a bad day? Like, what's your drive then, and what keeps you going?
I kill kittens with puppies.
No, you don't.
No, I don't have a bad day. I lose my cool. I sit by myself. I cool down for a little bit, and then I go back to it. Life's too short to be angry all the time. Although I get angry, but I just don't hold it in.
Do you know Laura Price's work on Disney's Tangled series?
No.
Gouache just wrote, Nick, you draw a mermaid. Nick, do the thing. Will you add in water ripples?
Yes. I've got like hours and hours and hours left on this thing. We're already 2 hours into it. I've got so much work left to do on this. It's not even funny.
How you do layouts?
Yes, at some point. I can't do it today,
Do it at some point in the future.
but I will in the future. In the future. Giving that shadow a little color back there. There we go. So that's the general layout of the painting. Go on top.
For you folks, what will you be doing with the scanned sketchbooks?
We're making a book. We're creating a book on my sketchbooks, drawing from life.
So you're making a sketchbook book.
We're making a sketchbook book. Can you please zoom in? Yes, that's what I just did. Yep.
Have you ever drawn something that you dreamed?
Yes, but I can't remember what it was. I know I've done it because I just know I've done it.
And I did one. I did it once when I was 16, 17. Like I had a dream of a specific structure, and I ended up drawing it out right after I woke up.
Oh yeah?
Oh, pretty cool. Yeah.
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 That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the end of that story. We're moving on. Out of questions. We need to reload. How many pages are in these big sketch pads?
They're all different because I've torn pages out of them.
Ah.
I've given a lot of the sketches that I'd like to have in the book are gone because I've either sold them in shows or given them away, or
Right.
I've given a lot of them away.
All these sketchbooks, all these green ones are 50 sheets, well, on average.
Oh, also, folks, just because I'm trying to make room in my studio, I'm going to be announcing soon the prices and that sort of thing, but I'm selling all of my large charcoal pieces. So let's see if I can pull one out here. Here's one. So, can you make it full size, Dustin? So, I am selling, I don't know if you can see these, you can see how big they are. These are all, I've got, I think 6 or 7 of these giant charcoal drawings that I'm going to be selling online in the next week or so. I'm waiting on the frames to come in. There we go. So you can see how big they are. I'm going to be posting better images of them online and the prices. But if you're interested, those are going on sale. I got to get rid of them.
There we go.
There we go. Hey kid.
Hey kid. If they're just looking at your hair, then we're in big trouble.
All right.
Erica Bay writes, still have that eagle ink that you gave me.
Yes, see, that's one of them out of the sketchbooks. Erica Bay, thank you. I'm glad you still have it and you didn't throw it away. That's awesome.
Would have been like, why'd you throw it away?
All right, so here I want to get a little color on that nose, because the nose knows. And a little bit of reflected light. Definitely reflected light on him. YouTube question. How has having a team with Nick and Dustin helped you create and build up the art business? It hasn't. They're actually bringing me down.
You're fine.
Do you think you'd have been less successful trying to do it yourself? Absolutely not. I think I'd be a lot more successful. But I just, you know, I like their company. So I tolerate them.
Thanks.
No, I wouldn't be nearly as successful. So no, it's, you know, one of the beauties of the way we've got everything set up is just everybody has a responsibility, and it really helps all the way around. And so yeah, there's no way we could have been where we are now without the help of Dustin and Steve and Nick.
I mean, a perfect example was this recent trip to Montana.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing the photos while you're doing all the drawing.
So a little bit of reflected light there. Lose a few edges. Will you continue this painting in another stream? Probably, maybe not.
I'll see why not. Put it on hold till next week.
Yeah, I might do that. But this is, like I said, it's a rough sketch idea. And so from here, I would arg.
You would arg?
I would arg. There we go. It's a little too much.
Arg.
Arg.
Arg, baby.
It's just got a lot of. I got to stop. I got to loosen up. Is what I need to do. The other thing I want to do is turn off those drawing layers. See what that does is it tells me where to create my edges better.
When will your next live stream be? Next Tuesday?
Yes.
Or is it still on hold?
No, next Tuesday I think is good. Thursday, we will not be doing a live stream. I'm going to be going to Moscow.
I need to prep for that. Or are you going to be officially flying that day?
I will be flying on Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes.
And you say you're going to be there for 8 days?
Nope, I'll be there for 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah. So here, I just want to create an edge here, and then I'm going to work that brighter snow up into the painting. Whoops.
I don't
no.
Oh no. The other thing too I want to do in here is just pick up where some of this scalloping picks up here.
Pick up some of the highlights in there.
Yeah. Like so. And just, I got to work the whole thing over like that. So once again, this is just, you know, one of the things I like to do is go out to Montana, go out to the wilds, whether it be there or we're going to Africa in June. Not June, what am I saying? We're going to Africa in October. And all to, you know, to capture the images of wildlife in their natural environment. And so that's really important to me as an animal artist, because then I like to be able to come back to the studio and do this and create images, and as an animator as well, it's important, I think, to see everything moving naturally in their environment. You know, you know, if you're a nature artist, student of nature in general, it's great to be out there observing all of this. You know.
Got a question? Will you come to Netherlands one day, or anywhere nearby the Netherlands?
Yeah, well, as close as I just was in Denmark, but we'll definitely make it there at some point, for sure. It's just going to be a little while before we make it over to Europe again. Well, actually, we're going to be there in July, but we're going to be in the UK, near Manchester. Sandra asks, how do you blend colors? Do you ever use a mixer brush tool? I don't. I layer them. I don't really blend them. That's my preferred way of doing it. So like here, I'm not blending colors. I'm just kind of layering them on top of each other. I'm just trying to get that texture in the snow. The snow is kind of melting off, and so it's a little crusty, a little granular. It's got some graininess to it.
When will you release the wildlife photos?
We're going to put together a collection of wildlife photos soon. I'm not sure when yet, because I've got to go through them and you know, do our picks and all of that. But we'll do that. We will be doing it in the near future. And so you'll be able to purchase, for reference, you know, packets of our animal pics, or if you're a member, you'll get them automatically. Which is another good reason to be a member.
Is that a new question from Nick?
Nope. No, everyone's just kind of lost interest. So I'm going to do a layer right here.
Layer
Layer right here.
right where?
Layer right here. Right on top. Set that to multiply. Set phasers to multiply.
Set phasers to stun.
Hi, YouTube question. Hi, Aaron. I have a burning question. Ooh, gotta get that ointment put on that. Take some penicillin. Is there any difference between gouache and tempera? Well, that's a good question. It seems the same to me. Maybe it's just a regional difference in naming things. No, tempera is different. I think that it's tempera. I think it's the medium that's different, or the binder. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I've always thought of tempera as more of just the pigment itself. I'm not quite sure. I haven't used tempera enough to know. I'm not sure what the difference is, to be honest with you. Sorry, I'm babbling because I'm trying to get this right. There we go. But I think you can reconstitute tempera once it dries, right? I'm pretty sure you can. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not. You got me on that one. Good on you. You got me.
That's a wild stuff.
That's wild stuff.
That's wild stuff.
Bam, 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 bam. And that was a burning question too. So shoot, I'm sorry I couldn't answer you better.
I want to put that fire out.
Yeah.
Lighting and shadows are a big issue of mine. Any tips?
Look at life. Look at life. Look at how lighting works on everything. Get in the habit of just observing it and how it falls on objects, how it bounces. You know, different surfaces will reflect light in different ways. So there's that. Yeah, it's there's a lot to having it work the right way in a painting, but it stems from observation. You've really got to observe. I really showed this the wrong way. Doggone it. There we go. This is all going to be, I got to rework a lot of this, or continue to work it, I should say.
It.
Work it.
Yeah.
You better work.
You better work.
All right. There we go.
What is your field art kit?
My field art kit is it depends on what I'm using as a medium. If I'm going out in oil, I have a French easel that I carry with me, and a bag of supplies basically. If I'm doing watercolor, I have a duffel bag with an easel and my all my watercolor supplies attached to it, which is really cool. A lot of times it's just It's just my sketchbooks, really. This is all going to be done differently. It shouldn't be in shadow. It's going to be in light. So it really depends on what medium I'm doing. There you go. There we go. I don't want everything coming down to a point right there. I want it coming in this way. There we go. I'm just trying to get this texture down on the bear, on the snow,
On the bow.
on the snow.
On the bow. That right there is a bear.
That's a bear. One of the things, my eye isn't going right to the bear like it should, and so I might throw some shadows in here so that this becomes more contrasty. I'm going to try that down the road. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm just flopping it right now just to... I like to change it up so I see it with new perspective. Should be working behind this layer, but sometimes I like to work all in the same layer. It gives it a more traditional painting feel.
Somebody commented, if you were to stop painting now, it wouldn't look finished.
Yeah, well, thank you, but it's not. Got a long way to go on it. But, like I said, as a comp, this is just, that's what I wanted to do today, because I do think this is going to be a large oil painting eventually. I'm not crazy about the bear right now, the way I've painted it. It doesn't feel lit the right way. Matter of fact, I'm going to redo it. Where is it? Where is the... Oh, there he is. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Where is his lair? There he is. That's the lair. I'm going to turn that off. So I want to try something. Actually, I'm going to leave that layer on. I'm going to work right over the top of it.
The bear got the light from the right in the water too? Like,
yes, the bear in the water will have light. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Just haven't gotten there.
how do you know when to stop painting?
When it's done, man. So right now, I'm just trying to get this side. I'm going very loose with it. I want to try to get a sense of light on him.
Have you tried using gradient maps on your work?
No. There, I'm bathing him in a little bit more light. Going a little brighter now. Hey, you loud dog. Can you hear my loud dog?
No, I can't.
So I'm very quickly just throwing this in here to see if this bright light looks right on a grizzly. And when they're in direct light, they can get pretty light colored. So that might be more in the range that I want it to go. That does feel a little better. So I'm going to work with that a little bit more. And I think on the trees as well. Trees as well. Trees as well.
What kind of dog do you got?
Achilles is kind of a mutt.
Mutt.
Aren't you, buddy? You're a little mutt-like. Adding some brighter lights on these trees. Quickly. Just quickly adding them.
Quickly, hurry.
Image. This is getting a little repetitious up here, so I don't like that.
We already answered the question, dude. Ask what kind of dog do you have? I have a mutt.
Oh, Nick is saying, several people are saying, please make the picture bigger so you can see it on your phones. Yeah, you know what? You should be watching it on a bigger screen. Well, I can play it bigger. It's just harder for me to work it. There's a comfortable size for me. And sometimes I work small sometimes so that I'm seeing the whole thing. I'm not getting caught in the details. And then when I'm ready to add detail, then I go and I'll work it bigger.
Because the screen that you're using is...
It's a big screen. It's a big, big screen.
Trying to find...
What's that?
I was trying to find your set cam, but I think it got messed up.
It got detached, I think. It's over here somewhere. Yeah. So
No, I plugged it in earlier.
Oh, it was working?
It was working earlier.
Oh. Well, I don't know what to tell you then, boy. So just working some of these tree textures in here.
But somebody is asking, what Cintiq are you using?
I'm using this is a Cintiq 32 Pro.
It's the big one. The really big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Have you ever lectured at any Chicago art schools?
I never have. I would love to. So here, I'm just going to very loosely, like 38 special, hang on loosely. Just hang on loosely and don't let it go. There we go. Just very quickly, I just want to see, I want to balance that out. That's a horrible reflection, but at least it's getting the job. It's telling me value-wise what I need to do in here. I'm going to do the same on the on the trees in the background.
Harry answered Nick's question, right?
Nick says, "Yeah, so small for you is postage stamp size for them. Also, we're at 720p today. All right, I hear you, but I'm trying to paint."
How can I improve my character design?
How can you improve your character design? That's a big question. It takes practice. There's a lot of theory that goes into character design. I've got a character design course on my website, creatureartteacher.com, and you can, if you know, we've had a lot of great reviews on it. You know, not to plug it too hard, but yeah, I'm going to plug it because we've had a lot of great success with it. Actually, I got to get this up here.
What size of canvas do you prefer?
Usually my canvases are 20 inches in any one dimension. They're not usually more than 20 inches, I should say. This one today is 18 by 24. I just went big. And then 300 DPI. So I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick because we've actually got some other stuff. I want to get that video done, Dustin.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. So I'm going to wrap this up because I've got like 4 hours left on this and I just don't have the time to do it right now.
As you're still painting.
Yeah. So
there's been so many of those where you're like, should probably quit this for now. As you keep drawing, you keep drawing, you keep drawing. I should really stop.
almost there.
Exactly my point.
Boy, you're really entertaining yourself over there, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Love you, Dad.
Love you, Dustin. So it's just going to be going in and really working a lot of the light effects and some of the reflections and getting that bear looking correct. The bear looks terrible right now. But I've got at least the rough layout of what I want happening in here.
What's your approach when you have little to no reference to work with, like creating a new animal concept, such as like your own kind of dragon or a cartoon?
I don't do it. I won't do it unless I have the right tools. And for me, the right reference is the right tools. So it depends on, if you're trying to do something imaginary, then create something that you know from your head as far as the physiology goes. Really pull from your knowledge of anatomy, animal anatomy. So I try to do that. But if it's something that really requires some kind of reference or research, then I won't do it unless I can get the right research. Because if I can't, it's just going to come off looking wrong. So, and I don't want that,
Do you have any plans to do a course on drawing underwater wildlife?
Yes, we will be doing that. That's a great question. And yes, we will. I'm just not sure when.
Like, are you thinking of doing one for like a predator course, like sharks and things like that, and then one for others like dolphins and other kinds of fish, sea turtles?
It might be more general than that, but yeah, it's something in that vein. I'm just breaking up some of this reflection. There we go.
There we go. Four hours later.
and go home.
But I need to jot down the notes for the video.
There we go. I'm just adding a little bit of ripple effects in here. I'll be doing a lot of that just to get it feeling a little more watery. A little bit more watery. There. So I'm going to call it quits for today. This is, like I said, maybe we'll pick this up again next week. I've got a long way to go on it, but it's feeling pretty good. And I got to make it smaller and bigger. But there you go. That's it. This is the general composition that I'm going to go with, and I'm kind of digging it. So this, once again, this involved pulling elements from our trip together that we didn't necessarily see. I mean, here's the background for what I'm working with, and then here's a rough image of the mama bear, and I might even go back to just making it ambient light because that's kind of nice too. And I'm going to blow that up. There we go. So there's the mama bear and her cub. I dumped the cub. And
so cruel dumping the cub like that.
So here we are kind of combining the two together, and once again from a compositional standpoint I'm trying to get the eye to kind of work its way around and flow to the mama bear. So here's a YouTube question. What was my first drawing in Photoshop? It was of a lion. My very first drawing in Photoshop was of a lion. My first painting. And I'm not sure where that is. We might have it on, let's see here. I don't know where it is. So, so once again, I just want to mention before we close that we have a big Memorial Day weekend sale going on at creatureartteacher.com, our website, and everything is 35% off. It's a huge savings. That's including our membership. So if you've been waiting to, if you've been saving up to get a membership, now would be the time to get it because you're going to get 35% off. That's a savings of $70. It's huge. So get out there and check that out. We'd really appreciate it. And also, I'm going to be back on Tuesday, but not on Thursday next week. So I'm going to be off to Moscow, Russia. And but I'll be back after that. After I'm going to be there for 5 days, and then I'll be back. So anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed today. Don't forget to go check out our website. Look for the video we're going to be putting out on YouTube by the end of the day on our trip that we just took to Montana, where I talk about the importance of drawing in the field and seeing animals in their natural environment. To me, as an animal artist, that's hugely important. But anyway, thanks so much today for watching. I hope you guys learned something. Go out and put some beauty back into the world. That's what we do as artists. Be nice to somebody. Be kind. I don't care what kind of beauty you put out there, but just do it. Put some positive karma out there, okay? And put your shopping cart away, as I always say. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I'll talk to you guys later. Dustin?
See you guys later. Cowboy Bebop.